What's good, my good people? I go by the name Peter, or you can call me Wizard, or you can call me Mzizi. But I prefer Wizard because it's one of the most popular name that people know me with. Okay, so they call me the IT Wizard. So, guys, today, okay, actually, before I start with what I'm just gonna teach you today is I just want you to take a minute and subscribe to this channel. Please show your boy some love, man. Right now I'm below the belt. I am at 60 subscribers, and I'm just hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you see this video and you like this video, just drop a like there, drop a comment, and subscribe to this channel so that you can get or be the first one to be notified anytime I post a new video. Okay, so just go ahead and show your boy some love. Okay, so guys, today gonna be teaching you how to create an application using Spring Boot. Okay, Spring Boot 3. So I'm gonna start with creating a Spring Boot 3 application, and then after that I'm gonna create a front end application. Okay, so that we can be able to use our front end to to send some few data back to our backend. Okay, and we're gonna use Postman to also try to test some APIs, okay, for backend and see how uh, if it's working or not. Okay, we're also gonna use Postgres database to save our data. Okay, and the Postgres database is gonna be running on Docker. Okay, so we're gonna create a network in between Docker and our application, actually our database. So we're gonna create, so this is how it works, okay? In a nutshell, we want to run Postgres inside Docker. Okay. So what we have to do is that we need to create a network that will connect our Postgres with our Docker. Okay. So that network is what we're gonna create, so that the good communication can work. Okay. And I'm gonna show you how to create that network. Okay. So remember, we are testing everything on in our local database. Then after that, later on in this application, we're gonna also connect to the real database, okay? And we're gonna do that using AWS, okay? So the first step that we need to do is first, I had already created that application. This is the application, okay? So I'm gonna start again. Sometimes as a software developer or someone who is trying to create content, you need to do some side project, so once you're okay with those side projects, so that's the time we also have confidence to come and teach you, and so that you can be able to understand, okay? So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna close this folder here. So I'm gonna say file and then close the project. Okay. And then what I'm gonna create is a Facebook link. Okay. This is a Facebook link that uh, accept your username and your phone and your username, I think, and your email. Yeah, username and your email. And then it gives you a notification once you insert your your email and your why am I forgetting this word? Your email and your I got distracted actually. I'm so sorry. So once you insert your email and your password, then you click on submit, then you'll get a notification from your front end application telling you that it has been successfully saved in our database. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So the first thing that we're going to do here is minimize this and go straight to uh, Chrome. I want you to type and say Spring Boot initializer. Okay, so click on this Spring Boot initializer and then click on the first link that you come across. Spring Boot initializer is a website where it's created by Spring Boot. Okay, it's created by Spring. Okay, and the reason why we have this website is so that we can be able to create or create a foundation of our application. Okay, so you just get some details, of what you need. Okay, and those details will be in form of a file. Okay, and these details are what you need to upload inside your IDE. Then after that, you can create your application. Okay, so like the first detail we have Gradle. The project is supposed to be either Gradle, uh, Kotlin, Gradle Groovy, or Gradle Kotlin, okay, or Maven, okay. But for this application, we're gonna go with Maven, okay. Then after that, we have a language because we are creating this application using a language. So Spring Boot supports Kotlin, Groovy, and Java. But for us, we're gonna click on Java, okay. Then after that, they introduced the latest Spring Boot, which is Spring Boot 3. So within these versions here, you can select which version you want, okay? But the computer has automatically selected for me. So I'm going to be using 3.1.1, okay? Then the project metadata. So this is the group. So uh, you need to provide a group name, and this is going to be Facebook, okay? A group name means the name of the folder. Understand? The name of the folder. So this is gonna be Facebook dash link. Okay. Then artifact ID. I'm gonna say this is I'm just gonna call it Facebook, just like that. And then the name is gonna be Facebook actually, and then the description of the folder of the project metadata is gonna be like creating um, creating an application, okay, that that saves username and password to our database. That's it, okay. Then after that, the file, our project actually, this folder we're gonna, once we finish creating our application, we have to look for a package, okay? And you need to package this in terms of jar or a wall, okay? But for us, we're gonna package it as a jar. I think we spell this word like that, wall, right? Or wall, okay? So we're gonna package it as jar. This is what you need to select, okay? Then after that, Java has a version. Remember here we selected the Java as the language. If I click Kotlin, you know, I don't think we need to select. Actually, because it's using Java too. Okay, it's powered by Java. So if I'm going to Java, the language, so I have to choose which Java version that I need. Okay, and I'm gonna choose Java 17 because it has a long-term support. Okay, Java 20 was released not long ago, but I'm not really quite sure if it has a long-term support. Okay, then just pick up on Java 17. Then after that, we need to add some dependencies over here. Now these dependencies are what builds our application. So I'm gonna click on add, and then I'm gonna add JPA. Okay, now Spring Boot Data JPA, this is used to persist our data inside our database, okay? So it works like a way that you have some data from the front end, from your application, and you want to send it to our database, okay? So this one persists data, okay? Then after that, we're gonna use Lombok, okay? I always choose this as the last one. I don't know why, like it just came into my mind. Okay, so I'm gonna say Lombok over here. Now, what happens here is this is a library which helps to reduce the boilerplate codes. Okay, sometimes instead of writing lots and tons of codes, okay, so you can use Lombok to just reduce the boilerplate code. Okay, like if you write just one dependency, it sorts the rest of the code. Okay, so that's why we are using Lombok. Okay, it's a nice library. Yeah, forgives me sometimes for my pronunciation, but there's some letters that there's some letters that I can pronounce correctly, But all in all, yeah, we're software developers, and that's why we're here. Okay, so add dependency. The next dependency that I'm gonna add is Spring Web. So the reason why I'm adding Spring Web is because we are creating a Spring Web application, okay, including the RESTful APIs, okay, application using Spring MVC, okay. It also uses Apache Tomcat. We're gonna see Tomcat in just a few as the default embedded containers, okay. Then after that, we're gonna use what else actually? Let me check. Let me peruse and see what I'm gonna add in. So we have what else? Hmm. I think we're good to go, Uh-huh. So Spring Data, let me see. Let me actually check. So we have Spring Web, Spring Data JPA, Lombok, and then Spring Web. Postgres actually. Postgres, because we are creating a database. So I'm gonna say Postgres drivers over here. Okay. So this is drivers that will support us when we are creating our application. Okay, so then once you Postgres SQL drivers, this ones allows Java program to connect to Postgres SQL. There you go. Java program to connect to what? Postgres. So that's why we have this one. So it's a very a must. We need to, it's a must we have this one because we are creating a what an application that connects to Postgres. Okay, then after that you need to click on generate. So you're generating your project and it's gonna be created in form of a zip file. Okay, so let me move arrow back. There you see, I told you, man. So it's gonna create a Facebook application, and it's in a zip file. So what you need to extract the application from a zip file. So what you do is that you right click on the application and go straight to extract all. So here it's going to tell you where do you want to extract your file. Okay, so I mean your folder. So you're going to say C user HP download Facebook. Okay, then I think Facebook is much better, but let's just browse and see. How about if I do it in my desktop? Okay. Is it in my desktop or on my desktop? Yeah, how about if I do it on my desktop? Okay. So I'm gonna click on select, and then this is the path over here. So I'm gonna click on extract. So it's going to extract the project to our to our desktop. Okay, forgive me, I have a bit of a lot of files over here because I've been working. I need to learn this stuff. So sometimes I create so many folders. And don't forget that I'm also a part-time teacher. Teaching computer. You know, in Thailand. So yeah, so I have a lot of stuff going on my computer. So let's continue. So we have Docker Hub. Mm, this is the this is it, right? I think this is the application. Correct. So let's go straight to our IDE. Okay. And as I said, once you open up IDE, make sure you have a nice IDE. Okay, that uh, an ultimate one. Okay, an ultimate IDE. So you can go to the website and check what's the difference between ultimate IDE and community one. Okay, but for you to be able to create these applications, you need to be able to have ultimate IDE. Okay, and that's what we are having right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and upload my application inside our IDE. So I'm going to click on this open here. So you can open these things in three ways. You can open your application in three ways. You have new project, open, get from VCS. Okay. But we're going straight, click on open. Then it's gonna give you an open file or project, okay, where you need to select. your application. So I'm gonna go with the desktop directories because I extracted my application to desktop. So I'm gonna go straight down and see if I'm gonna get Facebook. I think this is Facebook over here, okay? So this Facebook name here is actually this Facebook name here, okay? Good. Yeah. So minimize this. So I'm gonna click on OK. This is gonna upload our project. Trust it and open project Facebook. Of course, man. Shit comes from a trusted source. Yeah. So click on Trust Project. Okay. So it's gonna upload the application into what? Into our IDE. Okay. So click on the, as you can see, we have all the information here we need for our application. Okay, so we have this Facebook, and also the path at which it comes from. So as we open this application, I'm going to explain to you everything step by step, man. You're going to like it. I'm telling you, you're going to like it, man. Okay, so we have the .mvn. Okay, we have .mvn. If you haven't installed .mvn, man, you need to go ahead and install this one. Okay, I forgot how we install it. How do we install it? Because I installed mine because there was a time I was trying to run a command and I couldn't because I didn't have .mvn. Let me see. Let me try and remember. Hmm, yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, great. So I think if I don't want to go to that topic, I'm gonna go back to that topic later on. Okay, I'm gonna come and gonna show you how to work with this one. Okay, so in here in this folder we have .mvn wrapper. Okay, and then we have some files over here. Okay, then this is inside Facebook, and then here we have src. Okay, so then I'm opening up the folder, okay, so that you can see what is inside. Then inside the SRC, we have like two folders, main and test, and then some files down here. Okay. Actually, no, these files are not included too in SRC. So I'm gonna click on main. Okay, then click on Java. So main has Java. Java has this Facebook link over here. This Facebook link is the name of the group. Okay, remember this Facebook link over here? This is the group. So yeah, this is the group over here, Facebook link, and then it has our Facebook over here. Remember this application over here? Yeah, this one here. Okay, so if I open up this one, this is the name. I think, yeah, I think this is the name. Okay, so then after that, inside we have this Facebook application. Okay, so remember this is the entrance. This is the entrance point to our application. Okay, as you can see, it's annotated with a Spring Boot application over here. So anytime you're running an application, the application has to pass through this file over here, Facebook application.java. Okay, up here we have some packages where this is coming from. Okay, so the package is this one over here. Okay, then we have some import. Okay, we have some Spring framework import, and this one is importing Spring application, which is this one over here. Okay, so that's where this is importing Spring application. Okay, then after that we also have import Spring framework. Okay, boot. Okay, this is just a file path towards where this is coming from. Okay, so we also have Spring Boot application. For you to get this one, it lives inside here. Understand? So we have this annotation over here. So public, okay, class, because we are creating a class, and the class name is Facebook application. Okay, so this is the main entrance to our application. Okay, great. So let's move on again to, we have resources over here. We have static, we have templates, and then we have application.properties. Then in here we have pom.xml. Okay, now this one here is what is needed to be able to run our application. Okay, and let me explain a bit of things over here. So we have the model version is 4.0.0. Okay, then after that, this is XML version. Okay, then after that we have the parent modules, where this is Spring Work Framework. Okay, Spring Framework dot boot, and the version is this one here. Okay, Spring Boot starter parent. Okay, and this is where it comes from, and then this is the version over here. Okay, then we also have the down here, we also have group ID, which is facebook.link. Okay, this one over here, facebook.link. Okay, then we also have artifact ID, Facebook, the version, and also the Facebook name of our application is Facebook. Then after that, we have what we call description. This description is what we wrote over here. Okay, this is the project metadata. Okay, then we also running this at Java 17. If I come here, we saw that we selected Java 17. Okay, and also we added this dependency. We added data JPA. So if I come here, you can see we added this JPA over here. We added Lombok, Spring Web, and Postgres drivers. This we call them dependencies. Okay, and the dependencies inside our application are here. Okay, so we have data JPA, Spring Web, Postgres, and Lombok. Okay, and also this is a test for testing. Okay, okie dokie. So we're gonna learn about test later on. Okay, so these are our dependencies. Okay, so then below the dependencies, we have this build over here. So this, what is being built? We have Spring Boot Maven plugins. Okay, and also we have Lombok over here. So basically, this is what is inside our pom.xml. Okay, then now let's go ahead and start creating our application. Okay, open src, let's go to main, let's go to Java, and inside this package here, this is a package here. Okay, inside this packaging here, okay, we see that facebook.application comes from a package, and this package name is this one. So this is the package over here. So this package here, we're gonna right click on it and click on new. Okay, and then go to Java class, because we want to create a Java class. Our application, our backend application, listen to this and get this right. Okay, let me explain to you how this Spring Boot application is built. Okay, our application sends data inside our database. Understand? Now, for us to be able to configure our backend database, we have three layers involved. Okay, the first layer is called probably the module. Okay, this is where you create a table that will be able to be mounted inside our database. Okay, that's the first class. Then in that class, we're gonna use JPA so that we can be able to like create a table inside our database. Okay, so the second level, we have what we call a repository, which where we extend JPA. So we extend JPA that helps us to persist data inside our database. And once we extend JPA, it will accept two arguments. Okay, I'm going to show you what the two arguments are. But we have that repository layer. Then we also have the service layer, which where we write all the logics. Then we have the control layer, where it accepts our data. So the data moves from control layer to service to service layer, where it checks if the nature of the data how do you want it to be saved inside our database, and in what format do you want it to be saved. So that's where you write all the logic codes. Then after that, we have the repository, where now you persist data inside the table, inside our database, and inside the table that was created. So actually we have 4 layers. Okay, so we're gonna start. Hope you understand. I hope you really understand what I just explained. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna go to our package, new, then Java class, and here we're gonna write the name of our Java class, and we're gonna call it users with a capital letter, user. Okay, then after that, I'm gonna click on enter, and it will create a class called user. Now, what do we want to do with this class over here? We want to create a table, okay, that will be mounted to our database. For us to create that table, you need to start with some properties, which the first one is private. Okay, the information that you're sending is private. Okay, that's why we are sending it as private. And then we have long, and then we have ID. Okay, so that's the first property. The second property, we have private, and then we have string. Okay. And then, sorry, the string is supposed to be in capital letter. And then we have string, and then we have email, just like that. And then you close it. Okay. The last one, we have private, and then we have string. Okay, and then we're gonna call this password. That's like that, just like that. So we are accepting email, we are accepting password. Okay, and this one is gonna be auto generated, like number one, number two, number three. These are numbers that will be auto generated. If I send data, okay, of a person, it's gonna auto generate these numbers. Like these numbers over here, they will be auto generated, like the way if I click here and move to next. Yes, so this 10 has been auto generated. I did not write that, so that's what this is gonna do. Okay, then after that, up here, I'm going to annotate this with that getters and setters. Okay. Remember, if I wanted, I would have come down here and created constructors, then no add constructor, getters and setters, two strings. I would have done all that. But because I don't need the rest of this code, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use Lombok, and Lombok will make sure that it will handle all the rest of the codes. It will make sure that this application here has constructors, has getters and centers, just by typing this code over here. So we're gonna start by writing this, uh, injecting this here. I think we call them dependencies. So we're gonna have what we call, the first one is gonna be getter. You see, getter is a Lombok. So getter, then I'm gonna add setter. As you can see, also setter is a Lombok. Okay, then I'm gonna add what we call all args constructors, which is a Lombok too, and then we're gonna add what we call no arg constructor, just like that. Okay, which is a Lombok. Then remember, we are creating a table, okay, that will be able to save this information over here. So I'm gonna type what we call table. Okay, double capital letter D. It's okay. So that's the table. Now, for us to be able to mount this inside our database, I'm gonna inject one dependency here. Okay, and I'm gonna type entity. See what happens when I type entity. We have a data that has been created over here. This is an image of a database. Okay, this is an image of a database. As you can see, select in persist view, run query in JPA console. Okay, assign data sources. Okay, it has everything to do with data. Okay, then let's go ahead here and add the name of our table. And I'm gonna call this name. Okay, I'm gonna call the name as Facebook data. Okay, then I'm gonna put an equal sign over here. So Facebook data, that's the name of our database. Okay, so we say that this one is supposed to be auto generated. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna come and add this dependency here, and it's at ID. Then we also have at generate generated value, which is this one here. Then I'm gonna open some brackets here, and I'm gonna say strategy, okay, which is equals to generated. We have generated identity. Actually, I'm gonna choose generated identity. Okay, so generated value, which is strategy, and then generated identity. Okay, then I think after that, I can do sequence generation, but there's no need of me writing here sequence generation for the time being, because I can come and say at sequence generation. Okay. But I don't want to do sequence generation, so let me take this out. So let me just do this. Okay. Okay. So we have this information over here. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is create a new file. And this new file, we're gonna call it, it's gonna be an interface, and we're gonna call it user repository. Repository. Sorry, repository. Okay, so we're gonna call it a repository. Oh God, I'm bad at typing. Repository. So I'm gonna click on interface. And then in here I'm gonna click on enter. Then in here, as I told you, we're gonna extend JPA. So we're gonna extend JPA. Okay, and this JPA will take two arguments, and it's gonna take two arguments from here. So the first one is gonna be long, okay, and then user. Okay, so because these are auto generated, this is auto generated, so I want to come here and say the first one is long, okay, and then the second one is name of the application, which is user. Is it user? Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then I'm gonna annotate it with at repository. Repository, just like that. Okay, and here you can go ahead and write some JDBCs, okay, on how you want to access the data, okay. Then after that, I'm gonna right click, go to new, create a new called a new class called user. User what? User service. Okay. So if I click on user service, I'm gonna annotate this with at service. Okay, I'm gonna annotate it to that service. Then inside here, I'm gonna say, because I need to connect this to user repository. So I'm gonna come and say private final, and then I'm gonna say user repository, and then I'm gonna say user repository. Sorry, user repository. Okay, so that means I am connecting this class here to this repository here. Okay, because user service need to connect to talk to the repository. I told you this is a connection of four layers. Okay, we have the user service, we have the controller, and also we have the what do you call it, the repository actually. Okay, so we are writing this code to be able to connect this to this over here. And uh if you see this red line, it means that we need to create a constructor. So if I click here, you have constructor parameter, so we're gonna add the constructors over there. Okay, and then I'm gonna take that out. Okay, no problem. Highlight syntax. Okay, so this is the class. Okay, And then the next step we have to do is create another file called user controller. No, yeah, user, you have controller like that. So this one is the one that is gonna handle our APIs. I mean, basically our APIs, man. Okay. So we're gonna use this to handle our APIs. Okay. Then here we're gonna say at request mapping. Okay. So we're gonna say at request mapping. Okay. Actually, let's start with request controller. Then after here, we're gonna come and say request mapping. So I'm gonna say at request mapping, just like that. Then in here we can create a path. Okay, so if I control P, we can have a path. So we can say path, can create a path, and this path will be like a URL, okay, where you will pick it up, and we're gonna post it here, let's say here, and then when we click enter, it's gonna display information for us here. Understand? It's so cool, man. It's so cool. It's very easy to understand. Okay, it's so cool and it's so easy to understand. So basically, let's give this thing a path, okay, and let's say we're gonna call it API, okay, slash v1 slash user, okay. This is my path. You can change and write any path that you want here, okay, but this means this API version 1, then user. Understand? Then inside this class over here, we need to connect it to our user here. So we're going to say private and then final, because I don't have anything else to do with this code. So you're going to say final and then you say user repository, user service. Okay. Then we have user service. The reason why we are writing final, okay, let me first add the constructors just like that. The reason why we are adding final is because we are just only using this one to connect our classes, okay? So that's all we need use it for. Okay, that's what you're saying private final. Okay, good. Then after that, we have our controllers over here. It's time now to write our APIs. But remember, we need to do only one thing. Okay? We need to do only one thing and we need to do a post mapping. Okay? So this layer has like different mappings. We have post mapping, we have get mapping, we have put mapping, we have delete mapping. What happens is if you want to if you want to delete data from your database, you have that code that helps you to delete it. If you want to see the what is inside our database, you can also use get mapping, a method that can be also used. Okay, so for us here, what I'm gonna do is, before I continue, let me first come here and auto wire this. Auto wire. Okay, inject with auto wire. It used to work. I had that this auto wire thing used to work, but nowadays it doesn't work, since because the versions of Spring Boot have been evolving, so they got rid of this one here. Okay, so but we're gonna use it because it's there. Okay, we're gonna use it because it's there, and I also see people putting it, and they always say it's a good practice for you to be able to have this here. So the next step that we need to do is do at post mapping. Okay, so we're gonna do a post mapping. Why are we using post mapping? Simple. It's because we want to post information to our database. So that's why we're using this method called post mapping. And this post mapping, what we're gonna say public. Okay, sorry. We're gonna say like small letters. We're gonna say public, and then we're gonna say repository entity, response, not repository, what am I saying? So we have response entity. Okay, and then inside this response entity, it takes the user. User is the name of our class here. This here, this one is the one that maps this table to, actually this is the name of our table, understand? And because we need to use this information to do our post mapping. Okay, that's where we are connecting, that's where we are this response entity accepts this user, because we're gonna use this one, okay, in our front end, so that we can be able to persist data to our table here. Okay, so that's where we are picking user. Okay, okay, so the response entity picks in user, and then here we can say create, okay, users, sorry, users, over like that. Okay, so what is happening here, we are creating a method which is called create users. Okay, because we are creating a new user for our application. Okay, then inside here it's gonna accept some few arguments, and we have at request body. Okay, we're gonna say at request, sorry, at request. I'm trying to type slow so that you can be able to understand. Otherwise, if I was just alone and doing this, I would have just been doing this very quick. Okay, so I want you to type at request body, and this here we gonna pass what we call the user. Okay, and the user object, this one here, that's the user, that's the object over there. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna return, okay, actually we're gonna say this is the user over there. Okay, so it accepts this here, it accepts this class over here. Okay, so here we're gonna create a new object. So this object we're gonna say user, and then we're gonna say create user created, and then we're gonna say user, just like that. And then we're gonna say is equals to user service, this one here, user service, this class, this here, user service, this one here. Okay, because now we are connecting it to user service. Where's user service? Yeah, user service, this class here. Okay, which is controller, which is this one here, which has been injected to REST controller. So user service, and then it's gonna do dot create user. Okay, and then it takes now the user itself, the person who has been created, just like that. So it takes the user, sorry, it takes this user with a small uh, just like that. Okay, so let me explain this thing over here. Okay, so we are doing a post mapping where we are connecting this class called user, okay, so that we can be able to create a user. Okay, our request body will pick the users. Okay, and the users need to have these properties over here. It needs to have these properties over here, email and password. Okay, that's why we are accepting the users with these properties over here. So this is a table that is displaying its properties and saying, okay, for you to be able to come and visit or be able to be saved in our database, you need to have these properties over here. So the user comes and say, oh, I have email, I have password, so they accept him. Understand? So that's what basically is happening here. So we are connecting this user. We are calling the user. Hey, user, come here. We are the front end. We are the guys. We are the security who is accepting these people, these users to our database. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. Come here. Do you want us to create user? Yes, let's do that. Okay. So if we create user, these people will accept or will have to input this information here. They will have to input this information here, this one here, they have to input this information. Okay, so it says, all right, for you guys to be saved in our data, you have to provide us this information here. This information is the password and the username. Okay. Then after that, it's gonna create an object. Okay, because you see this is an object oriented programming. It's gonna create an object. Okay, then after that, before it sends the information to our database, it has first to we need to create a method here called user service. So if I come here and click this method here, so this here is going to help us to save. It's going to ask us, okay, you guys, what do you want to do with this user? Now we have the information. Now we have this information in our hand. Okay. So what do you want us to do with this information? Then the guy says, oh, pretty easy. Just save the information. So for us to save the information, we're going to say user repository. Okay, so this guy, don't forget, this repository guy is the one here. Now what happens to this guy is that, hey, he says, okay, you guys are here. Okay, so I'm gonna save you in our database. So for me to save you in our database, let me first extend and call this guy. Okay, so let's extend our boss. Let's call our boss and tell him, hey, listen, there's some dudes who are here who needs to be saved inside our database. So what should we do? The guy says, okay, we're gonna save them. Do they have long? Yeah, do you have this one is what we're gonna provide them automatically, and then we're gonna pick them up. Understand? So that after this, then you guys will be saved inside our database. So there you go. So it's a user repository. You call him. Come on, Mr. User Repository. I got some people here. What do you want to do with them? Then the user repository says, oh my man, save those guys. So it's gonna say dot save. Sorry, dot save. So we're gonna save, who are we saving? We are saving the users, just like that. And then after that, sorry, we are saving the users over here. Okay, we are saving the users. Okay, so not the users. Why am I typing my own stuff? It's more letters. And then over here, we're gonna say return. Oh, so I think there's a problem here because we have an error over here. So every time I click enter, I can save this. So I think the problem probably might be over here. So here we need to, what we need to do is that we need to return. We need to do return. So what are we returning actually? So we need to return, okay, new, and then we're gonna say repository entity. Okay, and inside here we're gonna return create user, and then we also have create user. Then we also have we put it like this, http, sorry, http status, and then dot credited. And then yeah, I think that's what we need to do. So created user, supposed to be created user. Okay, so let me type it well. So we have created user, just like that. Then I'm gonna close this with semicolons, just like that. And if I come back, oh, the error is still there. So let's check the repository itself here, where this file is going. So where actually this, yeah, this file over here is going. So the thing is going to repository over here. My bad. This is supposed to be user, and this is supposed to be long, just like that. Okay, so user and long. Then after that, if I come back to con service, I can see that the error has disappeared. That was the error. Okay. So we have managed to create a user over here. So basically, this user has this Lombok over here. These are four Lomboks, okay, that reduces the boilerplate. We have the table name. We say this is annotated table, so we gave it a name. And then we have entity, and this is the table that was created inside our entity using this key over here. Okay, this is an ID over here, and then this ID here is gonna be auto generated actually. Okay, So then after that, we have email and password. So these are information that will be inside our database. And also we have this one over here. Okay. Then after that, auto generated. Then after that, we have the service class over here that connects to the controller. Okay. Then after the controller, we have the repository that persists data inside our database. Okay. So what we also gonna do is that we're gonna go here to down here resources, click on resources, then come to application property. I want you to change this, rename it actually. Is it to rename it? Rename it actually. Where is renaming actually? Rename, refactor. We don't say rename, refactor. Okay, and then we're gonna refactor this and call it YAML file. So it's gonna be YAML file. Okay, YAML file, just like that, and then click on reflect what reflect re what is this name? Refactor. So God, oh my God, why did I strain to read this word? So refactor, and then refactor the name. So this is to rename the name. Okay. So God, man, I just feel so guilty that I think I took more time to pronounce that word, but it's okay. It happens sometimes, especially that when you have so many things going on through your mind. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm trying to get some stuff up and running over here. So I'm gonna go straight to what do you call this? Because there's some stuff that I need to copy and paste. Okay, and I don't want to take more time to write. So uh, let's just see. So I'm gonna copy some YAML file over here. So this is the YAML file that we're gonna use. Okay, instead of me writing this information. So let me just type this YAML file over here. Okay, and I'm gonna explain everything. So we have here server port. This application of ours is going to be running on a server port. Okay, and our server port is 8080. So this is the server and then the port itself, which is 8080. Okay, you can change this to 8081, 8082, any port you want, but 88 is the default for port. Okay, so remember this is a Spring Boot application, and we need to name it as user. Okay, you can give any name that you want for this one. Okay, so this information here helps us to connect to create like a connection between our database and the table. Understand? Yeah, between our database and the table. Okay, so between the class table, okay, and also connecting it to the database. So this is the link here. So the Spring application, give it a name, which is the user. Then our data source is gonna be a class, and a class name called Postgres drivers. Okay, this is the drivers. Remember the dependency that we were doing. Okay, and then our URL is gonna be JDBC, and this is our URL. Okay, running on localhost 5432, and this is gonna be the database that we're gonna create in a minute. Okay, then we also have to provide our data source with username and password, which my username is Postgres, and also my password is this one over here. Okay, then JPA, as I told you, is used to persist data inside our database, and we have DDL auto where it creates and drop. This means that if I restart my application, the data that have been saved inside our database will delete. Okay, it will no longer be there. So the only time that you hold information is when you're not restarting the application. Otherwise, if you restart, you like lose most of the data. This one is not accepted when you like running data in real life or running an application in real life, because it's gonna be deleting data anytime you reload. So to avoid that, you just need to come here and change and write update. So anytime you reload, you're not going to lose your data, but it will keep on updating as you add more data. But because at the moment we're creating and we're learning how to use this and we're learning how to create an application, why not just change this one and put it as create and drop, so that anytime we save our information and we want to like maybe change some stuff, we can just reload, list the information and then send more information in there. So it's good for building up application. So SQL is supposed to be true, and then we also have the last part, which is the properties, okay, and dialect, and then this is where it is, okay, and then format SQL is true. Okay, guys. So you make sure you copy and paste everything the way it is. The only thing you need to change is probably the username to a username of an application that you like. And also, and actually you can change the name according to what you like. Then over here, the Facebook, come on, man, you can even come up with a better word of your for your database. Okay. Now, once this is configured over here, I'm gonna click on run my application. Let's see so far what we have done. Have we done anything important, or what have we done? So main error is not static in class. Okay, okay, okay. I think we might be having a problem here. So we have static over here. Sorry, static. That's the reason the application is not starting. So you need to be, as a software developer, you need to be able to learn errors. You need to understand where the errors are coming from, okay, and how to deal with the errors in your system, okay. So you can, and this comes in by meeting up with so many errors as you create. You need to like always practice, because these errors are errors that probably you've met before. Now you understand how they work. Because but if you don't practice and you don't come across this kind of errors, once you find the error, you're like, ah, damn, I'm gonna solve this error. Understand? So it's good to keep on practicing. So I'm gonna run my application, and then as you can see, my application is up and running, and it's running on port 8080, okay, which is over here. Let me show you. So we have here, so it's running on port 8080, and then Tomcat has been started. Okay, Tomcat has been started. Um, where did we find Tomcat actually? I can't remember. So Tomcat has been started. Okay. Yeah, not here, not here. So the Tomcat has been started, as you can see. And then after that, we also have, what else do we have? Uh, we also have we have started an added connection to Postgres. Okay. And I think why is it creating a database? Ah, yeah, yeah, I know the reason, because I've already connected to a database. Okay. I'm already connected to a database. I was expecting to have an error. So then after having that error, I'm going to show you how we be able to come to this point over here, because right now I can see it has created a table inside our database. Okay. So we don't need this. So what we're going to do is that non-clean, non-clean students, non-clean is a name of students in Thailand. That's, we call them non-clean. So if I find myself calling you non-clean, don't worry. Don't forget I'm a teacher here. So student, listen, okay? You need to have a Docker Hub, okay? You need to have a Docker Hub. So go to Google and then look for Docker Hub over here. You need to have this Docker Hub over here. So make sure you click on it and go ahead and sign in. Okay, sign in. So let me log out, and then you can sign in. Okay, you can come click here and sign in, and then you can add your username and then your password, and then you can click on OK and sign in. Okay, and also you need to download one for your computer, which is this one here. Okay, actually, let me click on this. Then repositories, then back here, and then I need to delete this. Yeah, delete it. So I'm gonna type Facebook. Don't worry, we're gonna get to these points, man. So I'm gonna teach you everything. So don't worry. So let me first delete this one. So before I get to this point, it will be already be deleted, has been deleted. Make sure you create a Docker Hub. Okay. Then after that, make sure you download Docker Hub on your computer. Okay. And if I type Docker, why is it create? Is Docker running? So if I type Docker, I think Docker is running. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is that I think I'm first gonna delete this image. Okay. And then after that, I'm gonna come and delete manually this one. Otherwise, we need to use terminal for us to do this. But let me first delete this. So I need it to be empty because I need to show you how to do this in a minute. Okay. Just like that. So we're good. Over here, we're good. So make sure this is up and running. Okay. It's up and running. As you can see, if you want to know if it's up and running, we have a green color here showing that is up and running. So make sure you open your local Docker. Okay. Then after that, what you need to do is that actually, if I run this one, it's not going to work now. Okay. And I think I'm going to change the name of, okay, just let it be like that. So if I run it now, it's not going to run because I've deleted the network. So it's going to break. That's what we want. So we see. So we are breaking and we're having a lack of connection at localhost 5432. Now you need to connect your application to your database. Understand? How do we do that? As I told you, we need to create a network. Understand? Now this network will act as a link between our application and our database. You understand there? Now, before that, we need to create a folder inside our desktop and we're going to give it any name. Let's say we're going to call it db-data. Okay. Now, this folder here, we're going to run we're going to run Postgres and we're going to save Postgres files inside that folder called db-data. We're going to save Postgres files inside there because remember, we are doing this locally. So we need Postgres inside our machine. Understand? So we're gonna save our files over there. Understand? Then after that, we're gonna run a command through our terminal and we're gonna open Postgres through the terminals. Okay, so let's do this so I can show you how we're supposed to do this. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is create a folder inside our database. As I told you guys, I had already created this. Had already done this activity. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna delete this one over here. So I'm gonna delete that. So it's gone. So empty so that it can completely disappear. Then let's go ahead and create a new folder and I'm going to call it DB. Okay. I'm going to call it DB, sorry, dash data, just like that. Understand? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cd inside that db dash data using my terminal. So make sure you open up your terminal. So we have this command called ls. ls checks what is inside HP. And if I click, we have so many information that is inside HP. So we want to CD inside desktop. CD means getting into. So if I say CD, so meaning getting into this file name. So Control C. So CD means getting into this file name. So if I click enter, you can see that I'm in that file name. Understand? Then I'm going to click on ls to see what is inside the desktop. So if I click on it, I see so many files and folders over here. Now, I want to see the inside our application folder, the one that we extracted, the one that we are creating our application in. I wanna see the inside this over here. I think this is the one. I wanna see the inside this one so that I can be able to access my application through the terminal. So what do I do? So I come here and type cd and I say cd into Facebook. I think that's the name. Okay, so I'm gonna say cd into Facebook. Then I'm gonna click enter. So how do you check to see what is inside Facebook? Who can answer? Da, 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 da. Yeah, you're right. Correct. LS. So you're gonna see this folder here. You're gonna be, oh, okay, we have some ls over here. That's nice. Understand? Okay, but now funny thing, we don't want to see the inside our Facebook. Okay, because we need to create those postgres. Don't need to see the inside our application, because I just wanted to show you how you can see the inside the application. Now we need to see the inside our uh, .db data so that we can create some Postgres files in it. So I'm gonna say cd and then dash dash. This means going back a file, okay, behind. So if I click on enter, we are back again to this one. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say ls and then we have db data, which is this one here. So this is the file where we need to put uh, our Postgres files in there. There you go. So enter. So we are inside this empty data. So if I say ls, there's nothing to be seen because it's empty. Understand? So we are inside this data DB through terminal. Okay, so we are inside this one. So the next thing that we need to do here is uh run a code. Okay, so we are inside here. So I want us to run a code. Let me see if I can find that code in this information that I have here. So if you want to see the codes that you have used, you have drop down and up arrow. So you can click to see if you can be able to come across that uh, command. Mm, let's see. I don't think I have it. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna copy because it's a long command and it's very hard. You can actually some things you just need to know where they are so that you can go and copy and paste instead of trying to memorize everything in your head. As long as you know what the code does or what that command does, you can save it somewhere. You don't have to like try to memorize it all as long as you know what it does. Okay. So I had created some notes where I had copy and pasted that. So that's where I'm going to get it from so that we can be able to send our files inside Postgres. You understand? Yep. Oh God, I've been talking for a long time, you know. Yeah. Mm. Okay, okay. I think I'm on the wrong slide. So, yeah, I love that song. So let's go up here. Where can I find this? I'm sorry, guys. I need to take a bit longer here. But anyway, come on. We're just having fun. We're doing our thing, you know. Yeah. So I got the folder. I got it already. So this is what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna explain everything for you to be able to understand. Okay. So I'm gonna copy. Ay, ay, ay. I almost deleted it. So I'm gonna copy. Then I'm gonna come here. Okay. And I'm gonna paste the code in here. So I'm gonna paste the code in here. Okay. Now remember we are running Postgres inside our Docker. Understand? So what we do, we have need to create a name of our network and call it DB. Okay. Um, Actually, before we run this code, we need to create a network called DB. Okay. Before we run this code, okay, we need to create a network called DB because we don't have it here, but I'm using it here. So how do you create a network called DB? Okay, so we need to create first a network called DB. Okay, and for you to be able to create that network, actually you first let's delete the first one that was here. You remember we had a network here that we deleted called DB. So let's go ahead and delete it inside our terminal again. I know it's deleted, but to make sure that we have done that, let's delete it from here. So network, just like that, and then create, and then db. So if I click on enter, you see we have created, actually we haven't deleted. Actually, it's gone already. Forget about that. But if you want to delete the the network, so you can say docker, okay, and then we can say network, okay, and then you can say rm and then db, okay. But actually we don't want tb, we need db. So let me just even delete that one. So that means that one is deleted, okay? So I'm gonna run this code again and I'm gonna say db. At least that's good, because the way I've misspelled this word, it has made you understand how this network delete works. The network, the Docker network rm delete, rm, and then the network, name of the network works. So I'm gonna click on enter. So create a network. So I also need to delete this one actually. So I'm going to delete a network called DB. So as you can see, it's gone. Then I'm going to recreate it again. And there you go. This is the network. Then after that, I'm going to run this code that I need to explain to you. Actually, before that, let me say Control C, Control L, just to start everything from above, because we had a lot of information here. So what we need to do is what do we need to do? Okay, so we need to run this code over here. So we need to run this code. I can see the code. Let me copy paste it again. Okay, we need to run this code over here. Control C. Okay, we need to run this code over here. So this code will create Postgres files. Understand? It will create Postgres files inside our DB. As you can see, this is the path where these Postgres files will be created. Understand? We will also provide the password and the Postgres name, which is Alpine. This is the name of the Postgres. It's Alpine, and the password itself, and the password is password. Okay, so password and Postgres name is Alpine. Then we're gonna save this data inside. We're gonna save this Postgres information inside our DB data path there. So CD user HP, this is where DB data is located. That's where we will save this information. Then we will have a network that we have created, which is called DB. Understand? And this Docker run, this Postgres is running on port 5432, which I'm going to show you in a short period of time. So if I click on enter, I'm able to create image locally. Oh, it's pulling it actually. It's pulling down. Okay, it's pulling down the image, okay, and creating it locally. So I'm gonna show you. So you see this, it was empty. So as you can see right now, it's filled with information. Previously, it was empty. So these are Postgres files that have been added over here. Okay. So the next step that I want to do is go back to your terminal. Okay. So we have it created over here, downloaded. Okay. So the next thing that I need to do is, as you can see, if I click here, we have that network that has been created. Previously, we did not have this information, but right now we have this information right here. Okay. So the network has been created and it's running at 5432. Okay. Yes, it's running at 5432. It's running at 5432. Then the network name is DB, and this is Postgres, which is the Postgres Alpine, the name of the Postgres over here. Understand? And the status is that it's running, and it has been launched like 0 seconds ago. So the network has been created, and the path is full of the Postgres files. Okay. yeah, the path, the DB is full of the Postgres files. Okay. Then after that, we need to run another code so that we can be able to connect our database, okay, to our uh I mean to create our database so that we can be able to be able to have a database and send information to our database from our application. So for us to be able to create a database, I'm going to run this code again. We have another code here which is Docker run. Our Postgres is running on Docker. That's why we have this one. So Docker run. So we have RM, the network, which is DB. Okay. Docker run. Okay. So Docker run it and then network DB. Okay. So it's going to run this network called DB. Then the Postgres is Alpine. This information is here. So we have Docker Alpine. Okay. And then, yeah, the Postgres is Alpine. Then we have the DB here and then the Postgres. So if I click on enter, you see, so it's asking us for a password and we're going to provide this password over here. We're going to provide this password here. Okay. And this is the password. There you go. So we are inside our database. For us to be able to create a database, we're going to say create, okay, database. And then what's the name of our database? We're going to call it this name over here. We're going to call it Facebook. Okay. So we're going to call it Facebook. So we're going to call it Facebook. Then close. And if I click here, it's going to create a database called Facebook. And give it a minute. There you go. Create database, Facebook. Now we're going to connect our database to, we're going to connect this one to our database. Okay. So what we're going to do is that we're going to say /c and then we're going to say Facebook. This means to connect a database. Okay. So if I click enter, you see you are now connected to database Facebook as user. Understand? So what we need to do now is to run our application and see if the our application has connected to the database. There you go. You see, running on port 8080. Started our Postgres and then finished. Well, started and completed. We have a table that has been created, the ID, email, password, which is this table here that I've been talking about, ID, email, password. So this one has been created inside our database. Then you see everything is up and running. Tomcat started at 8080. Okay. So everything is up and running, guys. Okay, so let's try and test if we can send application information from our front end, to our back end using this API here. Okay, this post mapping. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna go straight to what we call post mapping. Post mapping is an application that is used to to test your APIs to see if you can be able to send information to your database using our APIs over here. And it contains the three mappings, post mapping, okay, which is this one here, put mapping, get mapping, delete mapping, okay. But because you are doing a post mapping, gonna take this post over here. Now this is our path here. Now this path, our application is running on HTTP localhost 8080. Understand? And 8080 HTTP localhost 8080. And API v1 user. So this is here, API v1 user. Okay. This is our path over here. Okay. Now, what are we doing here? We are doing a post mapping to our body, which this is the information that I have created. This is a JSON. Okay. So we're going to send it as a JSON. Okay. Yeah. So our APIs accept JSON. Okay. JSON. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to use JSON over here. So you have text, JavaScript, JSON. So we're going to use JSON over here. So this to know if it's JSON, you check this here, these curly brackets over here. Then inside here, this is the information which is here, okay, on our user. So because we said it's gonna, we are sending email and password, right? So we're gonna have, let me see, email and password. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm trying to get the mm, application. So sorry. So this is the email and the password, okay? Then then after that, I'm gonna write an email, which is this one, okay? And then I'm gonna write a password, which is this one. Then I'm gonna do a send, okay? If I click on send, let me open my application. So we have this application here. Then we have uh, our postman here. So I want you to see. So if I send this post mapping, it's gonna go to our user. Okay. So it's gonna go to our user over here. No, 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 no. It's gonna go to our user controller. Okay, over here. Okay. It's gonna accept the users, which is this one over here. Okay, and then it's gonna go to the service and see what the service logic is saying, and it's to save, and then it's gonna persist it inside here. So for us to do that, because we have our server up and running, then we're gonna click send, and once you click send, you're gonna see some logs here, meaning that the information has been saved inside our database. So if I click on send, there you go. So we have some logs here. Okay, you just saw some things happening over here very quick. Okay, so these are those are our logs, and it has said completed and in the initialization in 1 minute second. Wait, actually it's a 404 error. So sorry. What's going on? Why am I getting 404 error? Huh? Actually it's a 404 error. So that means a 404 error means that information was not sent successfully. So let's see where the error is. Go back to user controller. Let's check first the path. Uh, User controller. Let's check the path over here. So probably the path might be wrong. So we have 8080 API v1. Oh, so this is supposed to be U, small u, just like that. So you see, so let's start this and see if it's gonna take effect. So run. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna try and send. So you're gonna see some logs right now. Okay. So I'm gonna click on send. As you can see, we still have a 404 error. That's the problem, man. Oh, again, we need to put an S here, users. Okay. Then gonna click and then run. You need to be able to know and to detect errors quickly. Understand? Yeah, so that you cannot stay there for long doing the same thing. So after this, we're gonna click this back here and then send. And I think right now you're gonna see some logs down here. So if I click on send, yeah, you're gonna have some logs here. So you see it's a 201. Okay, this means it was successful. Okay, as you can see, it says The request has been fulfilled and resulted in a new resource being created. It's supposed to be 200 or 201, all the same. Understand? So we have seen that we are able to say to send email and password inside our um, backend. Okay. Then after that, let's see if we have been able to successfully send information to our database. Okay. So inside your database, okay, because this we connected this to database. So I want you to type select and then star and then what is the name of the table here? The name of the table is what's the name of the table? The name of the table is Facebook data. So this is the name of the table that we need to run. So we're gonna come here and then we're gonna say Facebook data. Then I'm gonna close. Then I'm gonna click enter. Oh, we have a problem. Select, sorry, select star from, then enter. Mhm. Relationship. Uh-huh. Actually, I think I forgot to this code. Select star from control V Facebook data. I think. Hmm. Let's try and change the name of our Facebook here. I don't know why, but to some reasons it's not working. So I think let's change to face, and then I'm gonna run the application one more time. Yeah, so that the effect can be taken. Okay. Then after that, you see the reason why I was saying that we need to create and delete over here. Okay, to because every time you'll be restarting your application. Okay, so it's good once it destroys, create and destroys. Okay, so we're gonna go straight to our terminal. Oh God, terminal, and then after here, what we're gonna do is that actually we're gonna go to post and send the data again. Good. So the data has been sent. So to see if that data is in our database, I want you to do what? Go to your other terminal and then say select dash from face, just like that. Let's see. What's the name? What's the name? What's the name? I might be writing my own names here. So let me check this one. Copy. I'm trying to change the name to see if the code will work. Or probably there's something that I'm doing that is not correct. Okay. Control V that I don't know about. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What's going on? Because I know the code. I think it's the name. Probably that name was not, I did not rate it well. Might probably interchange the capital letter. I don't know. I just probably might have done something wrong. So this is ID, email, password, and then you can see our information inside our database. ID is automatically generated. This one and this one. This is the information we sent from here. Okay, great. So our back end is up and running. Okay, like never before. We are good. We are awesome. So the next step that we're gonna do is that we're gonna create a front end application. Okay.